Hey guys, I am Pixel Dan, and today we're going to be checking out the brand new Alien and Predator 7-inch action figures from Lanard. Yeah, that's right, Lanard, the company that is famous for giving us figures called the Core, have really been dipping their toes into some licensed properties over the years. And I've taken a look at some of the offerings on this channel in the past, such as their Rampage figures, but now they've been doing Alien figures, and we've gotten some 4-inch ones the past year. Now we're getting these larger 7-inch scale Aliens, as well as Predator figures, and it's kind of mind-blowing, but really fun and exciting at the same time. It's really interesting because these are definitely aimed more towards kids, I think, rather than collectors, because they're more in that style of toys that are kind of made to be played with. But this is one of those weird instances where, of course, Alien and Predator are R-rated properties, and here they are getting toys that are kind of aimed at kids. And on top of that, do kids even really know who Alien and Predator are these days? I don't really know who these are for, but I know that I saw them and thought they looked really cool. Like, these definitely have appeal for me as somebody who grew up with the old Kenner figures. So we're going to take a look at some of these. We're going to check them out. I've got 4 figures that we're going to look at today. I've got 3 from the Aliens line, which gives us this awesome metallic blue Xenomorph Warrior. We've got this kind of pearlized white Xenomorph Drone. And we've got this kind of golden Xenomorph Runner. And then I grabbed one of the Predator figures. This is the one that actually stood out to me the most. This is the Jungle Hunter Predator. And he's kind of like translucent-ish because he's fading into his cloaked form, so that really appealed to me. So yeah, these are really neat looking. You can see they come in these window boxes that show the figures within and their accessories. They got very nice looking packages there. Nice cross-sell on the back of the Aliens one. The Predator one shows you all the different accessories and everything that's included. Really, really crazy stuff. Let's get these opened up outside of the boxes and get a closer look at the figures within. All right, we got our new Lanard Alien and Predator figures outside of the packaging. So the package refers to these as 7-inch figures. You can actually see they are just shy of a full 7 inches tall. We are pretty close to 7 inches with our Alien. Oh, and we are right at the 7-inch mark with the Predator. So I guess the Aliens stand a little bit shorter than that, but that's basically because of their design and their shape, I think. Also, the knees were a little bit bent. So yeah, they are right at the 7-inch mark. But obviously, scale-wise, they scale a little bit differently. These dudes are beefy. I mean, these feel like retro, chunky action figures, which is kind of cool, actually. So let me go ahead. I'm going to move some of these guys out of the way. I want to really just kind of focus one at a time for the moment. So let's start off with our Warrior Alien, which is hands down my favorite of the bunch, because I just think the colors on this guy are really cool. But you can see how big he looks just in my hands there. I mean, this guy feels like a big, solid, chunky figure. I mean, he feels really good. He doesn't feel like he's cheaply made. He's got some decent weight to him. Like I said, he feels real solid here. Here's what you guys can expect for the articulation on these guys. So the heads can turn left and right at the base of the neck. So that's where the head's turning on the Aliens. The mouth does open and close at a hinge joint there. They do not have the detracting inner jaw, but if you look inside, that little mouth is sculpted inside his mouth. So that detail is there. I thought that was pretty cool. You do have the ball-like hinges there at the shoulders, which are kind of like those ratchet joints. You can see the way they're clicking there, and they can move forwards and backwards. You've got swivels at the elbow. You've got bends at the elbow. You just have swivels at the wrist. These are not hinged at the wrist. The torso appears to be on a ball joint, so that rolls all the way around. We do have the ball and socket joints there at the thighs. This allows the legs to basically just move forwards and backwards and apparently pop off. That's the first time that's happened, but I'm glad it did. Let me see if we can easily pop that back on. Yeah, there we go. Huh, very interesting. So one of the things I was a little concerned about while I was messing around with these before filming is the barbell in there almost feels like it might be a little fragile. I just popped this leg off. It actually doesn't seem that bad. So that's not as bad as I worried about. That actually feels pretty solid. So, and then you can pop the, wow, that's actually pretty solid. there we go. You can just pop the legs right back on. So I guess if that happens to you, it's good to know that the legs pop right back onto those ball joints there. They're actually pretty tight. It only happened because I kind of bent it outwards like that, it looks like. So the knees are nice and tight. They got those kind of ratchet joints going there as well. And then the ankles kind of swivel side to side. It looks like they kind of move forwards and backwards. There's no hinge in there. So they kind of do roll around a little bit, but they don't get like a really good rock on there. And then the tail just swivels. So this is molded in place. It's not a bendy or anything like that. It just swivels around. So it's a decent amount of articulation. If we're comparing it to something like the NECA figures, it clearly doesn't have as much articulation as those, but I will say that the articulation it has feels real solid. I mean, like I said, these guys feel sturdy, and when I pose them around, I mean, look at that. I can stand him up just fine, and I don't have to worry about any of his joints being loose or anything, so that does feel pretty nice. And like I said in the beginning when we were looking at these in the packaging, these definitely feel like they're designed for play because they are so big and kind of chunky there, so like they feel good and solid as far as that is concerned. I like the overall look of these guys, especially this one. He's kind of got that swirly, like marbleized metallic blue plastic, which I think looks really cool. And then he's got like this green, like this bright green on the fins of his arms, as well as sort of like airbrushed on the top there, which is a really cool effect. I mean, it just kind of fades into that metallic green. So he's a really cool looking alien. I don't know, I like him quite a bit. But let's go and bring in the drone alien here. I do want to show you guys that for the most part, they are shared molds. The bodies appear to be exactly the same, with the exception being the forearms, because the drone doesn't have those fins on his forearms. But he is molded in sort of like this pearlized white plastic, so it's got a little bit of a shine to it. Almost like a shiny bone color is kind of what's going on there. And then the dome on his head is also a little bit different because it's got this different pattern that's kind of painted on there, which looks really cool. Same thing with him. You can see the inner mouth is actually molded inside of the jaw. The teeth are painted silver, so that's really cool. But otherwise, that's about the only paint you're going to get on this guy. He's otherwise just molded in this like pearlized white plastic, but he feels just as solid and just as sturdy, and honestly, I think he looks pretty cool. So the runner alien, or I suppose the dog alien, is quite a bit different. This is the one that uses a completely different mold, since he's actually hunched over on all fours, and he's kind of molded in like this goldish color plastic. It's like a bronze gold, but he also has a nice like black wash there. You can see there's actually a black wash that really gets into all the crevices of the sculpt, and it looks really good. And he's got kind of what looks almost like this tiger stripe pattern going across the top of his dome there. His articulation, of course, is a little bit different, with the head turning left and right and slightly rolling around. That does appear to be on a bit of a ball joint. You got the mouth still opening and closing. Love the gold teeth there. You got the same kind of hinge-like joints there at the shoulders. The elbows swivel and bend. It does look like the wrists only swivel left and right. There's no articulation in the body there, but we can still turn the tail. And then the back legs are just solid. They don't actually have any bends at the knees or anything, but you can still move them forwards and backwards. So you're basically only going to get him in this one pose of them in all fours, and you even kind of have to mess with them just a little bit to get him right. I even can't get him with like his hands like fully flat, but he still stands up. He balances okay. And he's a nice little contrast to the other alien designs in this line there. So I don't know. I find these to be pretty fun, and they actually do come with a few accessories. So between all of them, look at this. We get a face hugger with all of them. But with one of them here, we get the egg, which is really cool. And the face hugger just stands inside of it. So that's really nice. All the face huggers are the same. These are not articulated. They're not really painted. They're just molded in this plastic there. You can see they kind of got the little wrap-around ring on the tail, but they'll actually kind of stand upright. They fall down a little bit, but the egg works really good for that. And then we even get this one, which is great because it's in like this little container, this little tube, and you can even just open up the top of the tube and it's the same face hugger on the inside. But I don't know, I thought that was pretty cool. But the most interesting and kind of funny accessory that we get is this poor puppy. Aw, sorry, doggy. We know what's gonna happen to you. So this comes with the runner alien. He is not articulated. He is a solid sculpt, but he's actually heavy. Like, he's not hollow. He's solid. He's painted like a Rottweiler. And in case you guys are wondering, he is anatomically correct for some reason. Yep. So, if that's been missing in any of your dog action figures, well, there you go. You've got that with your aliens there. All right, so I only picked up one of the Predators, but this was my favorite looking one. Like I said, he's kind of got that thing going on where he looks like he's cloaking. So the entire figure is molded out of this, like, it's kind of like a translucent plastic, except you can't see through it. So it's like got that like smoky clear, I don't know, it's hard to explain it, but you can see it. So he really doesn't have a lot of color on the back because he's got fading. He's fading into the camouflage. So, he's got some green on the front there, but that's actually nice. There's actually some added little paint deco in there that makes it look really good. And then he's got like the extra long blades on the right arm, which are really cool. They're not retractable, so they always just stay out. Same with the little cannon up on his shoulder. That is just always there, but it can swivel. So here, let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation. Ball joint at the head. The dreads are, they're all one solid piece there, but they are a little pliable, so they don't get in the way too much. About what you would expect with a Predator figure. You got those same like hinge joints at the shoulders, though they can only go up so far. They can move forwards and backwards. Swivels at the elbow, bend at the elbow, which has got that nice ratchet. Swivel at the wrist. You can rotate the torso all the way around because it's on a ball joint there. You get the same kind of barbell ball joints there at the thighs, so legs can go outwards, forwards, backwards. You can actually hear it clicking. That's crazy. They are very tight. And then you've got standard single joints at the knees, and then the ankles are ball jointed so they can roll all the way around. So again, it's not a ton of articulation, but what's there is pretty solid. He stands really good. I could still pose him around a little bit. And like I said, I think these are more meant for play, and this is definitely a good one for playing with. Now, he does come with one extra weapon, which is like this electro claw thing, so he can hold that in either one of his hands. It's just gray plastic. It's unpainted. I will say I like the shiny silver that's used on the mask and some of the other parts of his armor. I think that looks really cool. So, I don't know. It's a pretty fun Predator action figure. All right, guys, it's comparison time. So what I want to do is stand our alien alongside one of the vintage Kenner alien figures, which makes total sense with these. But that way you guys can see how the overall look and feel, very similar to Kenner, but they are scaled up from Kenner. And then let's go ahead and stand them alongside one of the NECA aliens, because I know a lot of folks out there are going to want to see what that looks like as well. It's really interesting looking at these side by side. And again, this really kind of shows you the difference between a collector quality figure that's more highly detailed versus the lower price point one that is definitely kind of aimed at kids, I believe. And we're going to do the exact same thing with Predator alongside the old Kenner action figure. And then once again alongside one of the NECA Predator figures. Really interesting looking at these side by side, but you know what? I get a real Kenner vibe from these, and I love that. I mean, come on, the original Kenner, Predator, and Alien lines are kind of what made me fall in love with the idea of Alien and Predator toys to begin with, so I think these are really fun. Now, I will admit, it still seems very confusing to me. Like, why are these aimed at kids? They are R-rated properties. They aren't even really modern properties, so do kids even really know much about Alien and Predator if, well, they don't know about them because of their dads like us? So it's an interesting move for Lanard to go for these licenses and put these out at retail on shelves at Walmart's, but you know what? They're fun toys. They're solid. They're really good at what they're meant to be. And they're a low price point. These things are $9.87 a piece. So they are under $10, which is kind of mind blowing because we don't see a lot of toys under the $10 price point these days. So they're not going to be for everyone. But if you're somebody like me who especially grew up and appreciates the Kenner lines, I think you'll get a kick out of these. I think they're a lot of fun. I think it's worth at least picking up one and checking it out. I would recommend the shiny blue guy back here because he's rad. Guys, thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, these can be found at Walmart stores right now. They are exclusive to Walmart. So happy hunting, my friends. And until next time.